So the rumour is that Kobbie Mainoo will get his first ever Premier League start today, literally this afternoon against Everton. Now whether or not that is actually true, we're not too sure. It may not happen today, it might be at a later date. But one thing that is very, very clear is that Kobbie Mainoo is about to become a big part of the Manchester United side and the Manchester United squad, the first team. He is now needed. With so many injuries in the midfield, it is time for Kobbie Mainoo to come into the side. So the question is, how will he change United's setup? Well, that's what I want to talk about today.
So before we continue into the video, a quick shout out to today's video sponsor, JerseyFIFA.com, the home of all of the greatest football kits. Whether that be the new latest releases or the old classic ones like this, Jersey FIFA has something for everyone, and now you can check it out yourself using the link in the description down below. And also make sure to use code JerseyFIFA for 10% off when you order.
And I guess the best place to start is by looking at the setup in pre-season. We can see in pre-season he played in a double pivot alongside Mason Mount, with Bruno Fernandes ahead of them. Now this instantly suggests that Kobbie Mainoo was trusted to be the most defensive player in the setup, which is quite interesting because that's quite a big responsibility. He's almost playing as a 6 here, with Mason Mount given the licence to push a little bit further forward. And I think that is something which he can do, you know. Defensively he covers a lot of ground, he's got very good work rate. Defensively he's also agile, so when players are trying to dribble and turn and things like that, he is capable of turning with them. Whereas someone like Casemiro in this position, if the opposition dribble at him, when they change direction quickly, Casemiro struggles with that. Whereas Kobbie Mainoo's low centre of gravity actually allows him to turn and deal with that. So that's definitely a plus. I think, though, the big area you're getting a plus from Kobbie Mainoo is in possession. This guy is incredible in here. He kind of fits that idea of if you're good enough, you're old enough. And that is how I see it with Kobbie Mainoo. He's very, very good on the ball. And I actually think he's benefited from having a bit of extra time in the youth team this season, because I think we've actually seen him grow and improve quite a bit already. For example, I think his forward passes along the floor have improved. It's never been a major weakness of his game, but I think he's taken it to the next level. And I think he's developing the ability to become a high volume player, someone who constantly gets on the ball and dictates the play. Now, one of the reasons that he can do that is because technically he is so gifted. He's an incredibly good footballer. He's got natural pauser, a good understanding of tempo. He's also got a good temperament. He's just absolutely brilliant, to be honest with you. Technically, he is an absolute dream on the ball. And it starts off with press resistance. This is something which United do not have at all. McTominay isn't. Amrabat is slightly, but not really. Mason Mount isn't, not really. Christian Eriksen, not press resistant. United do not have a press-resistant midfielder. Introducing Kobbie Mainoo, someone who can receive the ball under pressure, turn and change direction to beat the opposition press and move the ball forward. And what I particularly like about Kobbie Mainoo is that he addresses a massive problem we were talking about the other day. And that problem was that when teams press United, United really get sucked in to playing the way that the opposition want them to. So let's say someone here, they'll kind of try and force you over like this. United then always tend to go, oh, okay, we'll do what you want and follow that. When Kobbie Mainoo gets the ball, he's someone who will look to change direction much more. So he might initially shape up as if he's going left, and that will draw the opposition over like this. What he's then very good at doing, though, is quickly changing direction and then coming back out the other way. And that's something which United could really, really do with. So that press resistance is going to be a huge boost. I also think he will be a massive benefit when trying to break down low blocks and things like that. And the main reason is because, like I've said already, he has natural pauser to his game, which we'll address in a second, but he also has really good disguise. And those are two very important things when it comes to breaking down a low block. When you face a team which is, let's say, deep in a 4-4-2 like this, for example, whatever team it may be, one of the most important things to break them down is to get them moving out of position, right? Because when they're in this structured 4-4-2, there's not a lot of gaps. It is difficult to play through. Most teams struggle with this. It's a really hard system to play through. Some teams might even drop into a 5-3-2, for example. It's incredibly hard to play through. However, one way that you can break through, like I said, is moving these players out of positions. One of the ways you do that is to play with pauser. Because when you slow down, teams feel that they can just come nick the ball off you. So they start to come out towards you a little bit more. The second you do that, you create a little bit more space for someone else to drop into. So that is a huge boost. But also playing with disguise. Let's say I have a winger, Marcus Rashford, in this position here, but also Bruno Fernandes in this position here. Now what we can see initially is that Bruno Fernandes is marked here. I can't get the ball to him. He's well and truly marked. Okay, I can't get the ball here. But if I suddenly, as Kobbie Mainoo, kind of start shaping as if I'm going to play a pass here, what you'll often see is teams try to anticipate. So let's say I pretend I'm passing to Marcus Rashford. These players just step out a couple of yards because they're anticipating the ball going this way, so this guy's getting ready to cut the next passing lane this side. However, again, when you have someone like Kobbie who can change direction, you then actually go back inside the pitch. Again, a little bit of disguise, it just opens up a bit of space for someone else. And I think that is something which he will bring really well to the side. And we can look at what I'm talking about here with Want Video Analyzer Pro. It's a great video analysis software. You guys should check it out using the link in the description down below. But anyway, here we go. Pauser. So first of all, we can see he's receiving as a solo pivot. And he's going to receive the ball. And what he does is he just takes his time. How often do you see Manchester United midfielders doing this? Just taking their time on the ball, standing there, waiting for the opposition to come press them. But it has a really important effect. Because if you look higher up the pitch, there's not any obvious passing options like straight away, really, right? And the Leeds midfielders and forwards here are quite static. They're in a good shape. They're in a good position. However, what Kobbie Mainoo has the ability to do is change the direction of these players. So these players, like I said already, for Leeds, are all quite flat-footed and in their defensive structure. Kobbie Mainoo does this. We can see that he has dropped his right shoulder and he's acting as though he's going to push this ball here to the right. Okay, that's the body position he's taken up here. He's about to push the ball to the right-hand side. So what Leeds do is they all anticipate that let's steal a few yards here. We can now see the body language has changed. This guy has dropped his shoulder and gone to engage, and so has this guy. But Kobbie Mainoo has actually now changed direction and gone the other way. And now we've worked a passing angle out here, all because we manipulated the Leeds players, even just by half a yard or a yard. We've barely moved them out of position, but it's enough a lot of the time against a low block to make a bit of room for someone else. We've got another good example of pauser here. This is more about disguise as well. So apologies for the quality on this one. But on this occasion, Kobbie Mainoo is going to receive the ball in a right back position. You can see you can't pass to Wan-Bissaka here. You can't pass to Antony here, because if you pass to Antony, Declan Rice has got this ground covered. You can't really pass to Jadon Sancho because this passing lane is cut. So the first thing that Kobbie Mainoo does is he takes his time on the ball. Pretty simple. But the second thing he does here is he is shaped up as though he's about to play a pass in here. If I get the arrow tool real quick. He's shaping up as though he's going to play into Jadon Sancho, right? We can see that. If you look at this, his right leg is slightly pulled back. Now, it's difficult to show in a picture, but trust me, in the video, he is fully shaped up here as though he's about to play this pass into Jadon Sancho in here. So Arsenal lock onto that. This guy goes, okay, I need to step across to my right to apply the pressure. The winger here is going to engage as well. Declan Rice and Odegaard are the important two, though. They're now going to go and be aggressive and try and step into this area. But again, once they've done that, Kobbie Mainoo changes direction again. So now he's moved to the right-hand side and is going to open up a little bit of space up here for Antony. So Kobbie Mainoo does this brilliantly. He goes past his man, and now we can see the Arsenal double pivot. They kind of took the bait of this pass going in here, leaving all this space in behind them. Meaning that Antony can get the ball and turn and have all of this space to run into. And again, it is all because of Kobbie Mainoo having a bit of disguise on the ball, taking his time, and therefore manipulating the opposition. He also has a good change of pace to his game. So here he's going to receive the ball in midfield. This is actually, quite a simple but quite a slow pass into him. This pass was really lacking tempo. And as Kobbie Mainoo initially has quite almost a rigid posture here as he's about to receive the ball, we can see that this opposition player here thinks, okay, this guy ain't ready for it. I can go nick that ball in the midfield. But Kobbie Mainoo has other ideas, because what he does is he's baiting this player in. It's all part of the plan. Suddenly he drops the shoulder, changes the pace of things, receives the ball, goes on the dribble, and this guy gets absolutely nowhere near. He's changed the pace, he picks the ball up, dribbles through the pitch, plays the ball out to the winger on the other side. So in just a flick of a switch there, he's really changed the speed of the game by drawing out Leeds players and then flicking the ball out to the other side. So this is definitely something which Kobbie Mainoo will bring to the Manchester United side. The question is, what is the best position for him to do this? For me, I think, particularly if he plays today against Everton, we're going to see that, it's going to be an incredible test of his physicality, his temperament, his attitude, of course his technique as well. This is baptism of fire. He couldn't be put into a much tougher test right now. Going away to that physical but hostile Everton side, it's going to be a difficult game for him. I'm not sure I want him to be my constant pivot in the side. I think he can rotate into that position, but I think almost to protect him a little bit, let's not always ask him to do that. And actually, let's do something which we've done in pre-season. Number 37 here. We can see that he was dropping wide of the opposition structure in pre-season. I think that's something that he could do again here. So perhaps, let's say Scott McTominay plays as the pivot, like this. Let's say, you know, Wan-Bissaka, Maguire, Shaw make up a back three. Dallow's going to push a bit further forward. Give Kobbie Mainoo, in this position, the license to sometimes drop here, as Wan-Bissaka pushes forward. The license to sometimes drop into a double pivot. The license, to sometimes drop into a singular pivot. This is how you're going to get the best out of Kobbie Mainoo in the short term. In the long term, could he be a number 6, which dictates the play? Absolutely. But I actually prefer him as an 8, where he's given the license from these positions to get outside of the opposition structure and manipulate the opposition. You know, use these disguised passes where he's shaping up to play this way, drawing the opposition over, and then quickly reversing things and going inside. Use that. Also use that ability to carry the ball forward. I think that is the best way to get Kobbie Mainoo effective and efficient in the current Manchester United side. It's not going to be easy for him. And, you know, there's a chance he doesn't hit the ground running. And if that is the case, it's important that he's given time and trust and people are patient with him. Like I said, he's coming into some really difficult games at the moment. And also into a poor Manchester United side. The environment at United isn't very good right now. It isn't set up for a young player to really excel. So if Kobbie Mainoo can come into the next 3 or 4 games and really make an impact, then that will say a lot about what we have as a young talent here. If he can hit the ground running in these circumstances, he can be special. There's a chance he doesn't hit the ground running, and he can still be special after that. It's important that, again, he's given a bit of patience, a bit of trust, a bit of time. But this is, like I said, a baptism of fire. If he performs here, boy oh boy, you might have a special talent on our hand here. A talent who can control the tempo of a game, someone who can manipulate the opposition, who can pull players into different areas, really, really excel in midfield and excel in a side which wants to try and break teams down. Kobbie Mainoo could be special. You guys all know how highly I rate this guy, so that's where we're going to wrap up the video. Hopefully he starts this afternoon against Everton, and if he does, hopefully he plays well and is part of a winning side. But we'll have to wait and see. Let me know, though, what you think in the comments down below. What do you think is the best way to make the most out of his attributes which we've looked at today? For me, it's to have him in a roaming position outside of the opposition structure, but you might disagree, so let me know what you think in the comments down below. But apart from that, we are finished for today. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you have enjoyed it, and as always, I'll see you in the next one.